So hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Akshat Negi, and in this video I'm going to break down financial planning for all of you. So in this video I'm going to explain you why you need to manage your money, why you need to plan your money, what is financial planning, and all the steps related to it. So without wasting any further time, let's get started with the video. So first of all, let us understand what is financial planning. So financial planning basically means you plan your own money which you earn, and you manage it in such a manner that you can meet all your financial goals and all your financial objectives, needs and wants whenever you want to. In this process there are many steps involved, and in this video I'm going to talk about all the steps related to financial planning. So now let me explain you why you need to plan your money. So there are basically three reasons. So the first reason is inflation. So first of all, let us understand what is inflation, though I have explained it in my previous videos, but I'll try to explain it again. Inflation is rise in price of commodities over a fixed period of time. What does that mean? That is a technical definition, but what does that mean? For example, I have 100 rupees today. So that 100 rupees won't be of the same value after a year or after 10 years, because the value of currency will change, because there are many other reasons because of which that money which I have, the price, the value of that money which I have will fall down. So if you want to know more about inflation, you can watch the first video on this channel, which I'll link it down in the description below for all the concept, compounding and all that. Second point why you should plan your money is tax compounding. So first of all, let us understand what is compounding. You might have studied simple interest and compound interest in 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, whatever. Simple interest is an interest on the principal, and compound interest is the interest on principal plus interest of the previous year. For example, today I invest 1 lakh rupees in an FD giving 10% rate of return. So every year that FD is going to give me 10% return on 1 lakh rupees. But whereas if I put that money in mutual funds, let's say debt mutual funds, if I put 1 lakh rupees and that mutual funds are giving me a constant rate of return of 10%, let's say. So first year may I'll get 1,10,000 rupees, and next year I'll get return on that 1,10,000 rupees and not that 1 lakh rupees. Now there's mutual fund, debt mutual fund, where your money gets compounded, and there's FD where your money gets compounded. Let us understand what is the difference. Let's take as FD and mutual fund for that example. FD may you put 1 lakh rupees at the beginning and you get 10% rate of return, that is 10,000 rupees per year, let's say for 10 years. Here you will get, in FD you will get 10,000 rupees per year, that is almost 1 lakh rupees. That is almost 10 years mein 10,000 into 10, 1 lakh rupees. So if you want to double your money, you will require 10 years in FD. 1 lakh se 10 lakh rupees, 1 lakh se 2 lakh rupees ho jayega. But there's a catch to it. When you earn the interest on FD, when you earn interest on FD, the interest gets credited to your linked saving account, and your money doesn't get compounded. So on that 10,000 rupees you will have to pay tax. So let us say you fall in the 30% tax bracket, so you will have to pay 3,000 ka tax every year. So that is 30,000 ka tax, and net you save after 10 years is 70,000 rupees only in FD. Now we have mutual fund, debt mutual fund. Let's take for an example, given same 10% rate of return, there you get the power of compounding. So first year 1 lakh, second year 1,10,000, at the beginning of the second, at the end of the first year and beginning of the second year, that 1,10,000 will compound. So 1,10,000 पे you'll get 10% rate of interest, that is 11,000. So 1,21,000, and you don't have to pay tax because the money you invested is still invested and you don't get any credit in your bank account. So you don't have to pay a tax on it. So how much tax did you save in 1 year? The first year you save a tax of rupees 3,300. If we consider you a part of 30% tax bracket, so you saved around 3,300 rupees in the first year, and it will rise once the time passes by. And after 10 years, that tax will compound. That 300 rupees or that 3,300 rupees will compound over time, and it will create a difference of lakhs. You can see the picture on the side. I'll in the editing I'll just add the picture of that compounding a graph. So you can see how the simple interest ka graph grows at a constant rate, whereas compound interest ka graph grows gently, very gently in the starting, and then it starts increasing at a very high rate. So this is compounding. And now let us talk about the third reason, and the third reason is meeting your financial goals and objectives. For example, if you want to buy a car after 10 years, let's say after 2 years, I'm sorry, not 10 years. After 2 years, you want to buy a car. You need to start saving. How will you allocate your money and how you will reach to that goal? You need to understand that, you need to plan out that. Suppose you want to buy a house after 10 years, or let's say if you want to buy a second home at the age of 40, you are now 30 and you want to buy a second home by the age of 40, you have a first home. So how will you plan your salary? How will you plan your money to meet all your goals? So there are many steps of financial planning. The first step is understanding and determining your position, your financial position. So for this, you'll need to do two things. You'll have to make a budget, and also you'll have to make a statement of all your assets and liabilities. What are assets and liabilities? Assets are those items which you have which create you money. For example, if you have a second home, the home which you live in is not an asset, you won't count it as your asset. So what all can you list in your assets? You can list your FDs, you can list your investments in mutual funds, shares, debentures or bonds or anything. The money lying in your home, that is going to be included in this. Now, what will you include in the liability side? In the liability side, you'll have to include things like credit card debt. If you have a very high credit card debt, then you need to write about all your loans which you have. Loans like home loans and all that, everything. Home loans you have, vehicle loan you have. And yes, a vehicle is not your asset. If you have a car, it is not your asset because it will depreciate over time, and you can write a fair value, a scrap value, but not at today's market price. Let's say, then after you list down all your assets and liabilities, then you need to find that if I have to pay all my liabilities through my assets, if I'll have to sell all my assets to pay off all my liabilities, how much money am I left with? For example, I have to pay 100 rupees to the outsiders and I have assets worth 120. So 120 minus 100 is equal to 20. Budgeting is listing down all your expenses and income, all your sources of income on one side and all your expenses on other side. What expenses can you write? Groceries, all the expenses like groceries, medical, insurances, rent, and child education, and all that. Any kind of saving and investment won't be recorded over here. And on the income side, you can write rent from any property you have, or any salaries, or any dividend, or any interest from any FD which you are earning. Now let us start with the second step. Second step is building an emergency fund. For example, you work at an for example, you have a job which pays you 1 lakh rupees per month in hand, and all your expenses come out to be 80,000 rupees per month. So you need to make a fund in which you need to have 6 months of your expenses. 80,000 into 6, 4,80,000 you should have liquid in a savings bank account. Now the third step, if you have a credit card, you should probably get rid of it, because credit cards are not something which will help you create money. It will only help you, it will only lead you to debt. Once you have listed all your assets, liabilities and all that, and you have made a savings account with your emergency fund, then you need to see what all investments do you have and what all places are there in which you can invest. So you can invest in many classes, like you can invest in gold, you can invest in shares, you can invest in debt, equity. Don't invest everything in one place, like you have all your money in real estate, or you have all your money in gold, or you have all your money. If you want to see all the options which you have to invest in, you can follow my channel, you can subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe, because I post regular content, not regular, fairly regular, but I post content related to such topics. After you understand what all asset classes you can invest in, you need to allocate your money equally in all the assets. Not equally means 50-50%, but you have to give allocation to every asset present, every option which you have, and every option if you understand which you understand. If you don't understand crypto, you should not invest in crypto. But if you understand equity, you should invest in equity or mutual funds. If you don't understand equity, you can invest probably in debt mutual funds or index funds, or maybe equity mutual funds, or other kind of funds. After you have analyzed all the places in which you can invest, you need to analyze what are your financial goals. You'll have to see what are your financial goals. This is the next step. So a financial goal must be SMART. So S stands for specific. Specific means your goal should be specific. Your goal should not be vague. If you want to buy a car, you should buy a car, and you should not buy a bike. It should be specific that I want to buy a car. Then your goal should be measurable. If you want to buy a car, you should know what that car costs. You can't say I want to buy a car after 3 years. You'll have to say I want to buy a car worth 15 lakh rupees after 3 years. Then it should be achievable. If you are earning 10,000 rupees per month and you say that I want to buy a Lamborghini, but so you can't, right? So your goals must be achievable. They should not be unachievable or something which you can't achieve currently. Maybe you can later, but not today at least. Then it should be reliable and it should be relevant. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि that you are buying a car when you already have one car and you don't need a second car. Your financial goals should be relevant. They should make sense. All your goals should be time bound. There should be a time allotted to it. Like for example, if I want to buy a car after 3 years, then there should be time that after 3 years I'll buy the car. So now that you have measured your assets, liabilities, income and expenses, you have seen what all objectives you have, what all goals you have, and all what of assets which you have, and all your options in which you can invest. After determining all this, what you need to do is you will have to link all your financial assets, all your investing ideas and options to your financial goals. You'll have to decide how you can link your investments to meet that goals. For example, you can start a SIP in any of the mutual funds or GILT funds or whatever you want to invest in. So now that you have linked all your financial goals to all your financial assets and investing ideas, you'll have to follow the financial planning and asset allocation. If you have said that I'll invest 40 40% of total of my investments into equity, direct stocks. You can't go above that 40%. That 40% is the limit. Uske upar you can't go. You can't go above that limit. That is the cap. The cap can go down, but that cap can't go up. And you have to analyze your risk appetite. You can say maybe I'll invest 40% into equity. I'll invest maybe 90% into equity. That totally depends on your risk appetite. But don't forget to diversify into debt, equity, real estate, gold, etc. Now that we have talked about financial goals, planning and all that, insurances, tax ke liye I'll make a different video. For any of the other topics which you want me to discuss, you can comment down below any topic you have in particular you want me to make a video on. I can make video on fundamental analysis of stocks. I'll start with that, and I'll also make sector specific videos and all that. You can subscribe for more such videos and more such topics I'm going to discuss in the near future. I'll also talk about tax and all that. So that was it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Don't forget to like or dislike. If you don't like the video, just dislike the video, and don't forget to comment for engagement. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.